question is, do I believe in ghosts? And that's not a really yes or no question. There's so many different spectrums to like believing that people are still around you and you can feel their presence, or that there's an actual ghost haunting you, like you can see his aberration, even though his body is unavailable right now. So, if I had to choose yes or no, I would say yes, but not in the typical, there's a ghost gonna kill me under my bed or something. I do believe in monsters under my bed, but that's a different story. I don't sleep with my feet out from under the covers. I don't know why it's a thing. But an actual ghost, yes, I do believe that there are... No, I can't. I tried. I was going to try to convince myself of it, but I can't. I don't. I believe that everything happens for a reason and that the world is very controlled and that ghosts are a figment of people's imagination. Not saying that they have gone crazy or they're delusional, but to say that they feel things at a deeper level than I'm able to feel. So if they feel like a ghost of a loved one is haunting them, I feel that they had a very strong connection with that person and that they're able to take that person everywhere they go and really embedded themselves in their life. But not an actual ghost coming to kill me. So, yeah, no ghost.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Our second question today is going to be for Sharon. Sharon, if you had the ability to become a ghost after you died, would you? Why or why not?
Thank you for that question. I would absolutely, definitely become a ghost after I died. I have the most curiosity. So I would like to be able to go between walls and see what people are talking about, the things that they stop talking about when I walk into a room, and my kids and my mom when I go to her house, and all of a sudden she's talking to my brother and I walk in and conversation stops. So I would like to be able to know what the conversations are. I used to love Casper the ghost as a child. He was the friendly ghost, of course, so that's the type of ghost I would be. I would be the one who would walk up to people and ask them to be my friend, as I mentioned a few weeks ago in my speech, in my icebreaker speech. But I would definitely be a friendly ghost, one that's happy, one that's bringing joy to other people. I wouldn't use my powers for evil. I would definitely use them for good. So being a happy-go-lucky, fun-loving ghost would be my personality style, but I would absolutely jump on the opportunity to become a ghost.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to be for Doug. Doug, if you could talk to the ghost of one person who has died, who would you talk to?
Mr. Tabletop Mix Master, fellow Toastmasters. That's a very interesting question. It presumes that I believe in ghosts, and it presumes there's somebody from the long forgotten past that I want to chit-chat with. The first one, let's say maybe, okay? And if there was someone that I wanted to chit-chat with, if they were of any importance, they would have read a book. So, fast forward. I'm doing the very, very same thing by reading old books. I don't know if you guys know this, but I really get off on books that are somewhere between 75 and, there's no limit, except, some books fall apart eventually. But I love researching old data, because there's been people, even as smart as Martin, that wrote down, scribbled down, saved information for people like me to come along and go, oh my gosh, who knew? There's this thing called electricity. So, to schedule back to the ghostly subject at hand, I'm not really certain. Mr. Tabletop.
That was a nice dodge there. I like it.
Prevaricate.
Our next question is for Sarah. To some people, ghosts are scary, while to others they're silly. But fear is a subjective thing. What are you most afraid of?
I feel like you gave me this question for a reason. One recurring fear that I have is like getting sick and dying. So whenever I discover something new, like a pain that I've never felt before, or something on my skin, or whatever it is, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And I go into this big freak out, and I've completely banned myself from Googling anything. I'm over it. I will never do that to myself again. And I've had a doctor be like, the internet is great, but people can post a lot of phony stuff up there and convince themselves a whole bunch of things. So definitely, like, number one fear is getting sick or dying. And to go with the theme, ghosts are just so scary to me. I've had some paranormal experiences before, whether they're in my head or actually happened. It's hard to say, but I think I would rather like fight off a person than be like haunted by something and I can't call for help and people think I'm crazy because this room got cold all of a sudden or I heard a noise that no one else heard. So those are some of my fears.
Thank you for indulging that tough question. All right, I think we have time for one more, and I would like to ask this to Aaron. Ghosting is a term that refers to ending a relationship whereby one person essentially disappears by cutting off all communication without any explanation. Do you think this is a good way of ending relationships or no?
So, it's necessary sometimes. There are personality types that will not allow you to detach yourselves from them. Some would say, typically like Cancers and Pisces, I don't know. However, in my experience, it's been pretty consistent with that notion. And a lot of times, you have to do that for people. Because, as I mentioned before, in another table topic, sometimes people develop these expectations of what things should be. And as you've seen with anything, tough love sometimes is the best love. Or sometimes you need to break yourself in order to realize where you need to go. I happen to feel like people do too much of jumping from relationship to relationship and don't know what it's like to feel content by themselves and be okay and learn what you have to bring to the table. They just go from one person to one person, and I think is seeking validation. So in some cases you absolutely have to do that. In some cases we need to maintain something. I happen to believe that the people either come to your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. A reason, after the reason's done, you go. After the season's done, you go. If it's a lifetime, you'll know. Boom.
I expected nothing less.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
Right, my job.
All right, at this moment, I think we will move on to the evaluations portion, and I would like to introduce our general evaluator for the day, Miss Melissa Schaefer, and I'll take over the timing duties for you.
Got it.
So, thank you very much.